Hey there everyone, I'm back again! Well, I always say this at the beginning, don't I? Anyway, so last time I said the next game I play would be a Spider-Man game, and actually I have done that. But there's been a bit of a problem. The video ended up being 6 hours long. And it's rendered and all. It's ready to upload. The only problem is that it takes too long, like an hour for every 1%. So yeah, it's gonna take a while. I kind of have to try and find a good time to upload that. It'd be uploading for 4 days, so I have to make sure I upload at a time where it's not compromising to anyone, because while it uploads, the whole internet slows down like hell, and I'm not living alone, and even if I was, I'd still a pain. So yeah. But anyway, since that's taking too long, I thought I'd take some extra time to do something different. This is not a game. Nope. Today instead I'm going to be doing a commentary on my very own comic. How's that, huh? Oh yeah, think of this as one of those director commentaries that always comes on the DVD. Like, yeah, this is me going over my comic and just giving my opinion, sharing some experiences. I said in the past that someday I'd make a behind the scenes kind of video about it, but this is not it. Like that's still coming someday, but not right now. But I'm still going to share a few things about insights before doing the comic and all that. So anyway, how I'm going to do it is I'm not going to read it out loud. Like I am going to read it obviously, but okay, some of you may know me from the Yellow Cartello streams. And this isn't exactly like that. I mean, first off, it's my own comic, so I'm obviously not going to make the same kind of comments. But also in the Yellow Cartello streams, my good friend Riser usually reads out loud the comic, and I have nothing against them, but I'm not going to do it here. I don't know, first off because I have to kind of make a voice for each character, and I don't think I'm capable. And second off, I don't know, I have nothing to be feeling. For this, I mean. For this. So anyway, with that said, let's begin with this. Okay, so there is a subfolder there is a subfolder I made where I pretty much posted concept designs and all that. It's more empty than it should. But anyway, I guess I'll look into this more later, but for now I'm just going to look at this because, in case you didn't know, this was the original cover. Yeah. Originally I made this cover for the comic, and I ended up changing it because I hate it. To simply put, I hate this cover. It's terrible. First off, it's supposed to be a 2-page splash cover, but it doesn't even make sense that way because if we divide it in here, it means that one side of the cover would have this part of the body. It's really poorly constructed, and let's not mention the logo. Oh right, I forgot. The contest will be called Cretaceous Survival. Such a okay, so the story behind Cretaceous Survivor. As you may be aware, English is not my first language. I'm Spanish, and in Spain, the three periods of time dinosaurs used to live in were called Triásico, Jurásico, and Cretácico. And since in English, Triásico and Jurásico were called Triassic and Jurassic, I kinda assumed it'd be the same for Cretácico and that it'd be called Cretacic, and I was wrong. That's why you should do research before writing these things. So yeah, instead of Cretacic, it turned out to be Cretaceous. Oh boy, how I screwed up. But yeah, it's a bit weird coming back to it, like reading the description, seeing the mindset I had at the time. Like reading this, I get the impression that I really didn't think back then I'd get here, like that I'd finish the comic, because back then usually whenever I made one of these projects, it never went anywhere. Well, there is one exception. There is that one Spider-Man comic I did once. That's also really bad. But I didn't exactly count that because I did it quick. I did it fast. It was, well, rushed, obviously. Then I proposed myself to do this. I never thought I'd finish it. It feels weird actually. I finished the comic. Wow. Now I look back to it and it looks like shit. Okay, enough about this. Let's go start with let's go to the actual comic. So okay, here's the actual cover. Okay, so this cover I made it back in high school. When I had free time, I simply thought of making an illustration for the comic. And when the illustration was finished, I pretty much thought, you know, this looks better as a cover than the actual theme. So I ended up changing it. This ended up being the main cover, the actual theme. Actually, this image has received a lot of edits through the years. Like, for example, this wasn't the original logo, obviously, because as I said, I used to call it Cretaceous Survivor. The name change actually changed pretty well because this title card, let's say, or logo or whatever, it looks so much better than the old one. The only bad thing is that I kinda had to move all the skeletons to put the new logo, and that meant putting this one here, and it came off really pixelated. Even already feel bad. it was one of those things that I ended up changing. I guess I'll talk more about that later. Also, originally the doctor didn't have the it was meant to be the wings, but well, do any of you buy that? I don't, and I made it. Yeah, so even by the time I started the comic, the design of the raptor was really outdated. It's another thing I should have done more research on. Nowadays, I have already showed plans of how the raptor because right now I should be reading the thing. Oh look, here's my name. Oh, I'm not one level. Let's begin. I have some mixed feelings about the comic in its entirety, but here I say that my favorite part of it is the beginning, especially to play the whole introduction. I mean, it's really badly drawn. I can see that now. It's a course of a reality. It's a course of a reality. To identify later what you really got bad. Yeah, I see this stuff now and I realize that it doesn't go that well. But still, I really like the idea. I think it's a really strong beginning. Like strong and identifiable, like kind of, I'd say iconic, although I'm not sure. Yeah. Also, with this page I started before presentation. Thing about that, I kind of planned the comic to sort of feel like a documentary, because that's like the place where you get most of dinosaur stuff, well, outside of, you know, more blockbusters and all that. So yeah, I tried to give it a documentary feel. I don't know if I succeeded in that. But see, I pretty much had the idea that every time somebody new appeared, this introduction box would show up, showing you basic information. And after this, strange thing is the Protoceratops here is the only one that doesn't have the detail that normally this box would say something, like make a comment about them, like let's say an informal comment about them. Something a documentary novel couldn't say that, because this isn't entirely a documentary in that. But this Protoceratops here is the only one that didn't get it. And I guess that makes sense because it dies. So what would be the point? Velociraptor mongolensis. This is what I mean. And here it shows that this particular one really enjoying the taste of Protoceratops. I made that comment with I made that kind of comment first here, and I thought, let's make it with everything else. Also, another thing about these boxes is that at first they were not in boxes, they were green leather just there. And that really was a bad decision. Everybody told me it looked terrible, you could barely read it. Oh, speaking about looking terrible, I just remember, at first, the entire thing was, at first, the font I used was Comic Sans. Talk about terrible. I ended up changing it. I ended up changing it. It's about the things that I ended up modifying over time. Oh, and speaking of modifying, this page is also several things. This page has about very strange. I think the description here is the original one. It came a time in the comic where, like I said, I started in game with flat colors, but then I pretty much learned how to shade. So I went back to every page and shaded them. But the thing is, sometimes I didn't just shade the page, but instead just kind of remade it. I mean, not entirely remade, I still use the same pencil basis, but like to be heavily modified. Yeah, here. This is how it originally looks. Hey, look, Comic Sans, green letters. Exactly what I talked about. And yeah, I don't think anybody would tell me this looks better than the actual version. Not that this version looks great, still has its many flaws, but well, it's better than this. It really is better than this. Oh, and I just noticed this hand looks bad in both. Like, it looks a little better in here, but it still looks bad. Oh god, this foot! What kind of perspective is that? This is why we shouldn't talk to younger me. Oh, this. I remember back when I made this page, a lot of people were confused about what he was doing. Like, okay, that took me a bit by surprise because first off, how can you not see that he's eating? Oh wait, no, I'm getting confused with a different page. Sorry. No. But yeah, some people thought this was a baby somehow. Not the entire Protoceratops, but just a piece of the face. And I don't know how they came to that idea. Oh, this reminds me. Oh wait, no. I was going to say that the raptors were too big compared to the Protoceratops, but just looking at this, it's not big. Oh, I did something right. Wow! Oh, another interesting bit of information. See this raptor with the black line on his back? Originally, my idea was that if a raptor, instead of having stripes, had a black line in its back, then it was meant to be a female. I don't know why I made such a thing, considering that it didn't matter in the end. We only got to meet one raptor, so why we needed to know why exactly we need to tell it apart from the rest. I guess it's a nice detail. Like, something that doesn't need to be there, but it's nice that it is. Oh, the meteorite. And this is another thing I totally edited. I used this back from zero when I shaded the pages, because is it here? No, it's not. And the original meteor impact looked terrible. No way. Okay, it still doesn't look right. But that's better than the old version. If you wanna see it, I guess I can put a link in the description of the old version of the impact. Here came my first attempt he came my first attempt at human, which I'm not sure why it was funny. At least it's not distracting. Yeah, this is what I meant before with people being confused. Nobody knew what was happening here. Nobody knew that he was choking with a piece of meat due to the earthshake. And that's a sign of how good I was back then. I really wasn't as good as I thought I was back then. I remember back then I thought this was the this was the biggest tie I ever drawn. I don't think that's true anymore, but I also don't think that's something worth pointing out. And to be honest, this side looks bad. I know I said that the beginning was my favorite part, but I'm just shitting all over it. Here came the meteor impact, and one of the biggest mistakes I made with the comic. The first one that doesn't involve the art but the writing. I somehow tried to make it like visible that the raptor survived the heat wave. And did anyone fall for it? Because it obviously could not. Nothing could. This is stupid. Okay, I'll say it now. This is the most stupid moment in the comic. Just how this happened. Just how this raptor survives by holding onto a palm tree. That's impossible. How isn't the palm tree pulverized already? How isn't the raptor pulverized already? Oh, another fun video. I remember after I made these pages, I kept saying to myself that there was no possible way that palm trees could exist back in the Cretaceous era. Period. And I ended up looking it up, and it took me by surprise to know that yes, palm trees did exist back then. Just not on the desert. I'm assuming, I don't know. I'm not really very knowledgeable about primitive flora. Oh, it cracks. Like the impact of a meteor, a huge meteor wave, and it just cracks. Of course. Here's another piece of looking terrible. Well, this is more of the same, basically. I don't like how I try to make it suspenseful. Thrilling. Like there's this whole thing going on and he's just holding into it to survive. And as much as the scene makes no sense, at least I thought it up. At least this part is kind of nice. I mean, taking out the whole, he survives just by holding to a palm tree. So we're just like that, another thing that made no sense. I remember I had a long discussion about this with somebody in the comments. And okay, there was this explanation that it's not that the heat wave didn't took as long as it should, but that I didn't portray it as taking that long because it could have been boring to see. And I guess it also made the whole thing even less believable. Yeah. And this is funny. Oh, I forgot how much I didn't know perspective back then. I remember back when I first made this page, I didn't plan for the title to be here, but I ended up coloring this page after I made the new cover, and when I was making it, I pretty much thought, oh, you know what? That's like the perfect moment to put the title in. Only was better drawn. Also another thing, how did the ground break so easily? It had a huge amount of sand over it before. Was it breaking so easily now? At least it contains a thing I like, and it's that it's entirely vertical. Like, if you read this, you have to go the same direction the battery is falling to. And I think that was really neat that I did that. Oh, it's kind of weird actually. I'm speaking of the comic as if I didn't make it, but I did. Without is surviving in summer. Before I keep reading, I want to say I have plans to make this in the future. I know that I changed a lot about the whole beginning. Not the first, like, I keep the introduction of the raptor pretty much the same in terms of writing. I draw it all different, but the whole how he survives, I think I changed it entirely. I've made some ideas in my head about how he could do it that it makes more sense. Of course, I know that in reality it's pretty much impossible. I still have to pull some of your existential disbelief, but well, at least I can try something. Oh, this page, there's another fun story about this page. I originally drew 2 versions of it. Thing is, I drew 2 versions of this page and the whole entire thing that comes after it, but I ended up scratching them because I didn't like how they look. It's ironic because now I don't like how an entire comic looks. And also, back then I decided to go to this look for the humans, but I really shouldn't. Like, even while doing the comic, after the middle of it, I already realized that it was a bad idea to give them this kind of eyes. That I really wanted to change my style, but I kinda had to keep going with it because I was still doing the comic. I'm so glad that's over with. Okay, fun detail. You know, besides is that when I drew this, I was really into Dragon Ball, and I ended up having inspiration from there, and that wasn't the best place to take inspiration from. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dragon Ball is really well done. It's just such a particular style, and okay, it's just that I shouldn't have tried to make it sort of my style. Actually, I was kinda trying to do my own style back then, but I kinda failed because instead I ended up copying someone else's. And don't get me wrong, copying someone else's style can be the beginning to make your own style. It's just that I copied it wrong, let's say that. Also, I'm so excited to see the place in spies. Oh, actually, I just remember the whole night I remade the last page and the whole entire next thing. Just remember I didn't remake this one. That's kind of odd. Anyway, talking about remade, this page also, when I started shading, this and the next page also had a severe look over because it was terrible. And okay, granted it still looks bad, but at least it doesn't look as bad. Oh, Oh, see here I started doing the whole. He's more excited than he looks. He's kind of greedy. He doesn't really know much about dinosaurs. Also found stories, their names. For what I remember, Johann Bale was very much Bale from paleontologist. I wasn't really very original with that. Then Ferguson H. Osborne, his name was based on, I believe it was Henry Ferguson Osborne, which was the original guy who discovered the Velociraptor. I thought I should have referenced him somewhere, and here I did. I probably said his name wrong now. And sorry, Helen. I remember when I looked up his name, I went to Google Translate to see how two words sounded in how's the language called? Mongolia, I guess. And I came up with this. Now I've no idea about Mongolia. If anybody knows, is this name right? Is it a feasible name or is it kind of racist maybe? Speaking of racist, look at how I brought him. I tried to look up how people in Mongolia look, and I tried to replicate it, and I did a terrible job. Even back then I was aware of it, but I just didn't know how to do better. And in fact, he kinda looks like a girl, even though he's not. Here's a point I kinda wanted to make with the comic, that I kinda tried to point out that it's kinda like an accurate Velociraptor, but not exactly. Which first off I failed because my look on Velociraptor was outdated. But also I think that's kind of a neat idea, that we can't really know for sure. So, of course, if we were to find a frozen dinosaur out of nowhere, of course it would look kinda like what we think, but not exactly. Here I had the idea that he would be super greedy. In the end, I ended up changing that. Actually, I remember that originally I kind of thought that Johann Bale was the leader of the whole thing, but first simply head. A lot of my first ended up saying were originally planned for Johann. And I ended up changing that because I thought it fitted more for a person. He was overall more excited about the whole thing. Well, I forgot about what I was about to say. Okay, this is the big part. Why are you asking about it? Shouldn't you know what kind of thing to... Oh, okay, I guess it makes more... Okay, yeah, actually, I take it back. It does make sense that they wouldn't be sure what to do. In fact, what doesn't make sense is that he already knows exactly what to do. And then he just goes, oh okay, I'll go along with it just as long as they let me research it. Oh boy, this. Okay, so one thing I didn't know about is that in Mongolia, or at least in the Gobi Desert, which is where this whole thing is happening, it tends to snow at night. So many comments complaining that I had the Skype sound on. Anyway, that it snows every night, and I kinda made that like the reason why the ice didn't melt overnight, which of course it couldn't have been enough, because okay, well, why is it out in the open? Who does that? The conversation was so rushed. There's something I ended up finding out later, that back then I ended every conversation with someone leaving, and I realized that I shouldn't do that. Yeah, this whole thing is stupid. Don't get me wrong, the idea behind the thing is nice. It's a thing that should happen in a case like this. It just fails in execution. Sorry. And also this, why are there so little, how are they called, campaign? Hey Skype, stop! Hold on a minute. There we go, it shouldn't bother us anymore. Look at these faces, what was I thinking? Oh, I remember I made an attempt to change Eden's clothes just to prove that I could do that kind of thing with art. I should have tried to draw them good before. But I thought that they couldn't change clothes because they couldn't come prepared, and actually that's stupid. Why couldn't they come prepared? Why couldn't they have more than one pair of clothes? That was another stupid idea I had. But okay, another thing I like. This guy's introduction. So okay, I'm going to be fair with you. Outside of the Raptor, Steve was pretty much my favorite character of the comic. And I know that's weird to say because every time someone commented about him, it was about how much of a jerk he was. But the thing is, I really like that. I really like writing jerks. Apparently, they're really fun. They're really fun to write and to draw too. They're also a joy to draw. And he is actually the character that appears the most throughout the comic, other than the Raptor. Oh boy, he was fun. I'm just realizing now that this helicopter is way smaller than it should. And the Raptor is still here out in the open. Also, I remember this was some dialogue I wanted to write for months when I started the comic. Like, I was really into it. Again, I really love writing jokes. So I guess there is a little bit of sense in them finding it through satellite. Like, it's still a really weird way they did get the information, but it is possible. And then came this. Okay, so these two backgrounds are the only time I've ever made backgrounds like this. I remember this originally person was meant to shout out "No!" Like it was some kind of joke that I thought, but then I realized that it wasn't funny. But I already drew the page, so I kinda had to make him say something. Okay, so yeah, another thing about this comic is at first it didn't have a script, and at first there wasn't a problem with the whole raptor running away from the video and all that. But when I started putting dialogue, I realized how much of a mistake that was. Like, I drew a page, and while I was doing it, I entirely forgot the dialogue they were supposed to say, so I had to come up with something new. And I just remember back then I also had this problem that every time I made a page, it always had the same number of panels, and that drives me insane. I still like this scene. How they are all trying to keep the raptor while he's still trying to force them to give it to him. Even this, I mean. Okay, except for the I'll let you think about it. It's not that he shouldn't have said that, it's that he's being an independent bubble, but whatever. Yeah, the embarrassing in this book is actually really nice. Look at that, I'm finally complimenting the writing. If I were to remake the comic, I don't think I'd do it exactly like this, but I think I'd do something close. And I remember that when I was first figuring out the story, I pretty much had him be silent the whole time, but then I thought that it makes sense that he'd stand up at this point to say this. I remember at first I thought of having another character telling him, well made, but then I realized, why should they? He's an adult, he's not an insecure person, but why would they try to flatter him? So there was a change between that case and this one, which is I started using a marker to paint the lines rather than just. Okay, you know, this is something I'll talk about another time because it's kind of hard to explain. But I'll just say that I changed how I made the pages a bit. So in return, it looks a little nicer, although also the lines look wobbly. Oh, and I remember I once thought of doing an alternate version of this panel where instead, like originally I think Johan was meant to say both of these things, and I kind of thought that there'd be a alternative version where Johan would say all this and then person would just start and think about the bridges. Thank God I never got around to make it. I also really like this moment of where we have to face reality. If only it was better drawn. Speaking about drawn, I remember back when I made this panel, I don't know what was going through my head, but I thought that this was the most gorgeous I ever drew anyone. That this was the kind of drawing fangirls with share around everywhere. I was stupid. I was really stupid. I just leave it at that. I was stupid. Oh, and speaking about stupid, this is something I tried to hide with the writing. These guys pretty much came out of nowhere. And to fix it, I just said that he didn't realize they were already there. So I can say, at least the design of these soldiers is kind of nice. I remember at first I thought they'd have this logo on their helmets, but I changed of mind when I realized that this is supposed to be a secret organization. Why could they have something they could be identified with? And again, they put the raptor into the helicopter way too fast. Oh god, this hand. And another mistake I made was that before this page I never showed that there were two helicopters and not just one. What the hell? Where is this one coming from? Last few panels, except for the art, they're kind of nice. Again, this was originally supposed to be Johan, but then I realized it made more sense for a person. And between these two pages there was a huge what's the word? Delay? It's not the word. Okay, so there was a no, not delay. It was a hiatus. Yeah, that there was a huge hiatus where I stopped uploading pages because this was at the point where I learned how to shade, and I thought that before I get done with the comic, I should have go back to shade every page. And so actually this is the first page I made after the whole shading thing. This is the first page that never had a flat color version to begin with. This is also when I finally started making a script. From here on out, the comic had a script to go on with, which made it all easier. Oh, and this thing. When I made this page, somebody commented that he looked like he was dancing. Like, of course he's supposed to be stretching, but that's kind of a stretch. So yeah, it kind of looks like he's dancing. This looks terrible. And I kind of made it a point that he didn't have this description up until this point. And I'm still not sure why I had that idea, but at the same time I kind of feel like it's right. I can't tell why, but I kind of feel like it's better that this description didn't come up until now. And I'm starting to realize it's not filled with white. Wow. This thing. And I didn't realize until later that this is not how a suit is supposed to look like. So I kind of made it an excuse that he was just wearing a t-shirt behind it, under it, because he was going to the desert, and of course you can take that suit with this kind of clothes. It is of course a very stupid kind of thinking. Like, yes, wearing a suit in the desert is totally hot, man. Always wearing a suit with a t-shirt under. Like, what kind of logic is that? Like, of course he told him it couldn't. What kind of a stupid idea was that? Here we have the introduction of Dr. Den. At first I kinda had the plan that he was like the one guy dinosaur fan who didn't have it, even though the paleontologists and archaeologists were already dead. Like, he's the guy who made him get the raptor. Oh, and I remember back when I made this, this writing in here was kind of meant to be a hidden spoiler. Like, I was like, this is telling you how the comic will end, because WRTNGDNNSNS warping dimensions. And also TS container, because it's a survival container. It was meant to be that the raptor was inside of it, but I don't know if anyone ever got that. I made Steve point at it, kind of implying it, but but I don't know if that works or the art is storyline. For weapon potential. Okay, so it does make sense in some ways that they bring up dinosaurs with air technology. Even though later on Jurassic World would come with the same thing and everyone would complain that it's too stupid. I don't know, I think it doesn't make sense. Make some sense because he didn't look much into it before bringing that, before paying and bringing it here. And he just accepts it. You're a moron. Special kind of comment about. Somebody looked at his face and said, "Hey, it looks like he's about to rape him." Rape! Now apparently my comic is about rape. What the hell? When I make this page, I kind of thought this guy killed someone funny, and I kind of made a symmetry in the future with I'm not going to say right now. Okay, this page, I remember he was kind of to show why he is such a jerk. He's really stressed all the time, so he kind of has to take it out on him, which of course doesn't really like what's the word? It's not really a good reason to be a jerk to anybody, but it kind of explains what he is. At least that was the idea behind it. Again, can't tell if I made it, but I can tell this entire thing is drawn really bad. Oh my god, look. No, don't look at the hands. Don't look at any of the hands here. Oh my god. And his face! What's wrong with him? Is he an alien? Holy shit. Oh yeah, another thing I kinda wanted to bring in is that in this place it's forbidden to smoke, but he is a smoker, so all the time he's kind of wishing for it, but of course he can't get it, so he's just saying it the whole time. Okay, here's the thing I like, how this panel just shows up at the thing is really, although deep isn't the best word to use for it. Why would one of these building things make deep as a sound? Oh, and this was the obligatory reference in the title joke. thing I didn't mention is that the name Dr. Den didn't exactly came from anywhere. I just thought, how should we be called? Den! Let's call him Den! And that was it. That's how I figured it out. And later on I see that apparently a Den is like... Then I've learned that the word Den actually has a meaning, that is this thing, it's a Den. How do I explain it? It's this power thing this is a thing that gets power from water, to say this in some way. Yeah, whatever. Oh God, why is this still happening? And here we have another new character, Dr. Masta, who I really thought I used more than I actually did. I remember at first it was meant to be like a white guy doing this role, but then I thought, you know what, I kinda wanna prove that it's not really that hard to write a female character, that it's pretty much just writing a male character but with him in female. So yeah, I pretty much just changed the gender and went on with it. And I remember that I also thought, you know what, changing the gender is still whatever. So yeah, that's the story behind why this character is such a woman. Okay, this thing, it pretty much showed up because I was talking with my friends about the comic like a long time ago with my high school friends, and they told me, and they were complaining that DNA breaks after a time, that even if it was frozen it couldn't hold on for that long. So I kind of made this up to explain it. And I thought maybe in the future I'd do something with the whole mutated thing. I still don't have plans for it. In fact, I don't know if I'm going to retcon that in the future or not. And also due to this page, it was brought up to me something that was my brother brought up to me something that also really stupid. Okay, why did you bring the doctor if you didn't know it could be brought back to life? How are you trying to use it? I don't know, there should be a whole point in this discussion about... There should be a whole point in this discussion about how it wasn't even it wasn't even sure. They weren't even sure they could bring back the animal back to life, or even clone it. I guess I could have made the discussion later because they still the discussion here still ends up with bringing up a very good point. Which is that one raptor alone really couldn't be all that dangerous. And yes, in a package it's bad, like this, in a package it's bad news, but all by itself, yes, it will still hurt, it can be bad, but it's not like weapon material. this this whole thing shouldn't have been a page. It should have been just 3 panels is the whole thing the page is made of, but what I mean is these 3 panels should have come in a page rather than being the page. I just realized, did anyone thought this was a reference to Jurassic Park? Because I never realized it could have worked like that. I didn't even remember I wrote this. Like, seeing it now is kind of funny. I swear I didn't mean it like that. I didn't even think about it. But it's funny that it's there. And again, the conversations with you meeting. This is around the time where I finally noticed. I remember when I finally got here, I was so excited because finally I spent a huge chunk of the comic with no raptor in it, and it was like, finally it's back! Okay, I forgot to mention, this is page 34. I forgot to say that okay, let's go back. That here in page 30 I looked up at the script to see how long of the comic was left, how much of the comic I mean. And I had a kind of depressive moment when I realized I was actually at the halfway point, that I kind of feel that I was past that, but it was right here, meaning that it takes me just as long to get to the end as it took me to get here. And that brought me down because I was thinking, oh god, I'm not going to finish this comic in another year. And in the end it didn't end up being that way. In the end I ended up ending it that very year, like 3 months after I finished. I should have said that before. Okay, so here's a problem with this question. Who's saying what? And it's not until you look at this panel that you realize that this is meant for them while this is meant for Alpha. I like how I try to make some sense of it. I can really all of those things, so it's probably a reason why this couldn't work. I probably should have tried to go a bit more sci-fi about it, like say that she made a weird machine, because here it's pretty much saying that it's sending rainwaves to the brain so it wakes up. Okay, this is meant to work with comatose people? How? Oh no. Oh wait, never mind. So yeah. mean, despite the inaugurances and oh god, this panel. Honestly, I think the problem is now that I shouldn't have explained so much what they were doing. It should be more open to interpretation, to guess, because well, that way it'd be more hard to debunk how this whole thing works. Oh well, this is how I made it. This is the whole fading effect is something that I didn't really know how to do until this point. So that was kind of lucky that I learned how to do it at the right moment. Okay, these load up this joke right here. This is still out, so we could get. Yeah, he also kind of tried to make a point that the suit he was wearing was different each time. I don't know how that proves anything, but whatever. Really stop looking at the hands. Oh, this is another thing. I don't know if you've noticed, but I keep treating things behind crystals in different ways. Like here it's just the outlines that change if you're behind a crystal, while back in some pages it was the whole coloration. I really wasn't sure of how to express that yes, there is a crystal here. And honestly, I don't think it worked, so I started doing it here. But oh well. When needed, not when needed. Wow, I finally... I'm surprised I didn't spot a grammatical error before. What the hell? More blood samples when needed? Okay, do you mean to say when needed, or when we need it, or when we need it? Still going with the whole using the raptors as weapons. Again, back then I thought it was a really good idea until Jurassic World trailers came up and everyone was complaining about it, and they thought the same and everyone was complaining about it. And I was staring like, well... honestly, I can see how people think it's stupid, but I can also see how it isn't. Like, I don't know, I think there could be some potential in using dinosaurs as weapons. Like, first off, it's something the enemy won't expect. And also, some of these dinosaurs are faster, or stronger, or more intelligent. Like, okay, maybe not exactly for war, but I think it would still work as, let's say, a replacement of some dogs in weaponry or something like that. Could escape because it wasn't trained. And yeah, okay, I get it, they couldn't have... Wait, actually I don't. Why didn't they have trained? This raptor was here for months. Like, okay, it just woke up now, but... couldn't need preparation for it, couldn't they? Well, of course, the raptor would be more scared of us than we would be of it. I know a lot of people pointed that out, that these raptors kind of are pussy. Why? I don't know, I just thought it made more sense that way. I think this page takes the cake in terms of anatomy. Like, I've been complaining a lot about hounds, but what the hell is this? What the hell is this? And what's with these bodies? I remember I kinda made it a point that he looks up at the door and kinda realized that it can be open, but he's deceived that he's not going to escape now, but it's kind of a point that he can try to do it later. He now knows how this door functions. This is not how you throw it. This is not how you use a cube, you mother... earlier. Though again, it was all way too convenient for the raptor. wrong. Please. I should make a contest about what hand was the worst drawn. And also here the raptor only gets up to the knee, but here he gets up to the, how is it called? Okay, I forget the name of the goddamn. Hips? No, hips. Yeah, that's hips. The hips. Well, at least I did something original with the panel layout, but if only the art was better. Okay, this was also a funny page. Maybe this whole thing shouldn't have covered an entire page, but oh well. I remember everyone was impressed with this page. Probably because it's better than what I usually do back then. Although I remember when I made it, I kinda had the idea to have him jump out of the panel. And yeah, that's a pretty cool idea. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm going to talk too much about the art here, but he's just going to be escaping in these few pages, so there's not much else I can mention. And also, if these pages could load faster. Come on. Now you can do it. I remember back when I drew this, I thought it looked pretty well. I gotta say, even today, this is still one of the best. This is still one of the best. How do I say it? This is still one of the Raptor at its best in terms of how I drew it. I mean, it's still inaccurate, but oh well. And yeah, there are scenes that could have been better, that could be better, but it still looks nice. And this card says stay put while saying catch it instead of instantly running after it. I'm not gonna comment on this page. It looks too bad. Okay. I remember when I first made this page, I had a comment telling me how funny they found the Raptor's face in this, and that they actually saved the page to look at it every time he fell down. Well, outside of the fact that it wasn't meant to look funny to be sad, it's kind of flattering. Somebody's using my comic to feel better every day. Well, I don't know if it's every day, but well, yeah. And this is another case where it could have been drawn better. Also, how is he pulling the trigger? What the? Oh. Yeah, but as you can see, at least I'm complaining less than I was at first. Mostly because I kinda got better at that, even though I'm still not good. I remember at this page somebody brought a point that wow, his head is pretty tough. He can just pull this thing up like that. I guess there could be some loose views in this thing, but still. Stop doing this, internet. This is one of the things I made right, but I can, or well, at least I thought that I made right, that I had the thing that I showed that it was taking effect now. And it was kind of the idea that he would stumble around and that he would stumble around and end up getting a hit with the keyboard that would wake him up for a bit and also initiate this computer. Oh, I like the idea behind it, but I do realize that Raptor wouldn't really have slept in this posture, which was another mistake. I still kinda like the idea behind this, that this thing open and the Raptor kinda thought it was a good place to sleep in. Also because with the whole sedative in his head, it wasn't really thinking straight. And then when these guys came here, it was gone. And okay, in this page I finally realized that colors don't look the same way everywhere. That if there's less illumination in some place, then people would look darker. I can't believe I didn't realize this until now. And this is another problem with the art style, that my brother pointed out that this guy looks just like Johan Bale, the paleontologist from before. Yeah, he's right. I mean, the guy is fatter, but that still doesn't change too much. Oh, another fun detail. Room 040613. It's the date the comic started. April 6th of 2017. Just thought I'd point that out. And okay, this was a really cool idea. It could have been done better because the screens didn't look this way in the computer before, but still, this was really an amazing idea to just put the panels like this, like because we are watching a camera, then we are seeing not a camera but a screen recording, then we are seeing it, then the panels are instead screens. I don't know, I still think that's kind of genius. And here came the big point where they realize how much they screwed up. That was a teleporter. And since there were no coordinates, the biggest probability was that... Oh, yes, you can agree. Oh yeah, I cannot try to not show this up until he explained what the thing was. So we could suddenly have the background on what the hell on what the hell he is and what kind of thing he works on. How since there was no destination program, then biggest chance is that it's simply disintegrated. And with this came another line that I loved in the next page. After this, okay. Oh great, millions of dollars wasted on finishing the dinosaur extinction. I don't know, at some point I wanted to bring this up, like, there was a joke I had thought in the comic where Steve could propose if maybe they could just get rid of the dinosaurs since they can clone it. But then Dan would ask if he really would be fine thinking that anytime somebody would question what killed the dinosaurs, the answer would be him. And then he'd reply that actually that sounds kind of awesome. Well, of course I realized that joke couldn't have made sense inside of the comic, so I never put it in. But instead, I always wanted to somehow made a joke about how this was finishing the dinosaur extinction. And then I brought up that they can still clone it. Yes, this is something I want to come back to at some point, but not. I'll talk more about the sequel later since I'm doing this, but not right now. Here we find out what happened to the rotor. Or the dimensions, just like we explained before. Oh boy, another perspective that looks wrong. So yeah, this is where the comic ends. This is the last page. I ended it on a cliffhanger. And before you ask, yes, I am still planning on make a sequel, even though I have mentioned that a lot of things in the comic were kind of stupid. This whole place has a different kind of illumination. At first I thought of it, that each individual character would be illuminated with a different color depending on how they felt. I kind of feel like that's a bit cheap. I don't know. Like, I still want to do something like that, but I don't think having different characters, having different illuminations in the same page could work all that well. So I'm still trying to figure out how I'll do it. I have some things planned out, but I'm not sure. Nothing finished. I guess it's good that the sequel is still a long way coming. Or maybe not, because I know I have fans that only came to me because of this comic, and maybe that's it. Don't really want nothing about the other. And I was kind of into Kingdom Hearts when I finished the comic, so I thought I could do something like Kingdom Hearts does at the end of credits, where you have an illustration to show up as some sort of thing. Yeah. So I thought I'd have something alike, and I made this. Originally, it was meant to be on watercolor, like that's version still here. Load. Okay, I sort of realized that it wasn't really very good with watercolors, and it's not bad. So since I had scanned the whole thing when I booked it, I pretty much made it really proper. And well, honestly, I think the watercolor version has a bit more charm than the digital one. That's still. But remember, there's still time for it. The Raptor will come back. La initiation. Running in the flames. And I finally finished Getting Flames. In 2 or 3 years, I guess. So yeah, that's the end of the comic. And I said I'd look a bit into the concept art. So okay, some fun details. I made this in preparation for the whole lab thing. I remember back when they finally left the desert, I was glad that I could finally stop drawing desert, because it's also pretty clear that I didn't know how to. And I made this, and well, the perspective looks kind of right until you realize that this raptor is way too big for these doors. Well, so I started making this weird thing where the raptor kind of had hair. I'm seeing it now, I'm kind of thinking, what was that about? It looks awkward. But oh well, eventually I learned that people thought the raptor actually had hair instead of feathers. And that took me by surprise, so I started trying to redesign the raptor. And these were the first 2 attempts at it. But then after some feedback, I ended up going with this. Well, not exactly. It's still not definitive that I make this exact design, but I'll probably go with something alike. Probably. This is back when I changed the title. I already explained that whole story, so no point on talking much about this. An interesting thing about this one, this was actually concept art for the place where the raptor shows up in the last 2 pages. but I uploaded this before that happened. So when I did, I was kind of hoping nobody would notice that this was actually a huge spoiler right in the middle of, right out of nowhere. So in the description I kind of said that it was a random city, that it wasn't meant to be anything. And it was just to experiment with the shading. I actually had a Gmod reference for this picture, for this drawing, I mean. Anyway, yeah. That's the end of it. That's Cretaceous Survivor. There will be a link to the comic in the description, of course. And I hope I can have that Spider-Man commentary soon. And we'll see. And oh well. Yes. I guess what other comics could I talk about? So yeah, if you want to read the comic, you can go to DeviantArt or SmackDiv or The Pastic. So those are the 3 sites where I upload comics. And Cretaceous Survivor is on all 3 of them. So yeah, hope to see you all around. Bye bye.